Hey everyone, it's Gavin Sequeira here. And firstly, I just want to thank you for logging on and congratulations for joining me today on this free web class. I am super excited about this and I really hope that you are too. Now, we've got quite a fair few people that are joining us today. So we're going to see people joining in from all over the place at various times. And we'll give it about 30 seconds before we get into it. But first up, can I get a quick shout out if you can hear me okay? If I'm coming across clearly, just put a Y or something like that in the chat box. Just write something, just let me know that you're all good. Yep, I can see a few people saying, yep, you can hear me. Yes, yes, Y. Excellent, guys. Wonderful, good, good. Now, I can see a few people's names that I recognize, so I'm really glad that you guys could be here. JP, Carl, Chris, Nick, Sandy, Victoria, Alan, Eunice, Chris, Neil, awesome guys. Thank you so much for joining. And there's plenty more. I'm not going to name everyone, but I'm really, really glad that you guys could join us. And obviously there's a few more that are logging in. Fantastic, guys. I'm super excited you're here. And because right now, in less than 2 minutes, you're about to discover the simplest, arguably the smartest strategy to create a profitable, successful business that you love, that will replace your corporate job so that you can finally escape that 9 to 5 without risking your income. Now, folks, I've used this strategy to create my business while I was still in corporate without stressing or working crazy long hours. And my clients are using this exact same strategy now to create their business. And right here, right now, on this web class, you are going to discover how to use this proven and simple corporate escape plan to create your business faster, easier, and far simpler than you thought possible. Now, even if you're starting from scratch, even if you're already working crazy long hours and aren't sure if becoming an entrepreneur is right for you, and even if you haven't fully mapped out your business idea yet, we're going to get everything taken care of today. All right, that's my promise. So if you're serious about living a better, happier, more balanced lifestyle by creating a profitable business that you love, then this will probably be the most important video presentation you ever watch. I hope you're excited about that. I know I am. And this class, or this web class, I should say, will be a game changer for anyone in corporate looking to escape. It's literally my life's work. I'm very proud of it. It's changed so many people's lives already, and I can guarantee that what you're about to hear today will be unlike any business strategy you've ever heard or seen before. You really can't find this kind of information in any free ebook or download. I've tried multiple times. It's just not there. And you're about to discover how you can create a business based on your passions, a business you can run with your own ideas, a business that gives you freedom, and I'm talking about both financial freedom and time freedom to live and enjoy life how you want to live. A business that's stable, secure, and will give your life fulfillment and meaning, all without risking your income. Now, as we're waiting for a few more people to get in here, you're going to want to grab something to take notes on, whether it's your pen, paper, somewhere on your computer, whatever you're comfortable taking notes on, that's fine. Go ahead, get that and do that right now. And also, guys, if you're like most people, you're probably doing a lot of things in the background, like you're on Facebook, you're probably checking Instagram or your email or texting on your phone, or maybe you have the television on, but you're not fully engaged right now. You're not giving this your full attention. All I can say is, folks, if you're serious about escaping your current corporate job and creating a profitable and successful business, one that gives you true freedom, stability, and fulfillment, then you're going to want to shut everything else down. Just a little bit of housekeeping. I really want you to get this right and give this presentation your full focus and attention, because I'm going to be going through everything you need to do today. You'll be seeing examples, step-by-step processes, and essentially everything you need to replace your current corporate income with a business you love without having to worry about cash flow or anything like that. And I truly want you to get as much value as possible from our session here today. So if you stay till the end, I'm going to give you a copy of the first 3 chapters of my book called Break Free from Corporate, Be Your Own Boss, which will give you a solid foundation to accelerate your transition from your 9 to 5. Plus, you're also going to receive 10 powerful templates and audio tutorials specifically designed to help you gain clarity and save time on achieving your goals and dreams of escaping corporate. Now, let's make sure you're in the right place, because your time is important, and I want you to really feel good and feel confident about what you're about to discover. So This web class is for you if you are sick and tired of being trapped and restricted in your corporate 9 to 5, whether you felt like I used to, like something was missing, or maybe the environment you're in is toxic, or maybe you're just working too hard for someone else, maybe you're tired, you're burning yourself out, or if you ever wanted to start a family, but because of the long hours you work, you wouldn't be able to do that. Or maybe you just felt like there was an invisible ceiling on your income and your income potential was being held back. And if you ever wanted to break through that ceiling, you just can't do it where you're currently at. I understand. But folks, somewhere inside you, you have an entrepreneurial spirit and a desire to be free and have control of your life and destiny, or you wouldn't be on this web class. I know you want to create your own business so you can either explore a passion of yours or run with your own ideas and actually benefit from your own success. But you're not exactly sure where or how to start. And it's a little risky, I get it. So you're nervous and overall you're just unsure of everything. But you want the time and the financial freedom, and you want the lifestyle that you love, but you don't really want to take that leap of faith. I don't blame you. And you would rather transition without risking your current income. And if any of all of this feels like it's speaking out to you right now, you're definitely in the right place. And I'd like a little show of hands. Just type Y. Actually, I can see quite a few people already saying that, yep, this is me. I get it. Yep, this is exactly where I'm at. Folks, I'm so happy that you're on this web class. So before we get into the exact details, folks, I want to jump right in and give you a top-level overview of some of the things we're going to be going over. So go ahead and draw this triangle, just like you can see on the screen, on whatever you took out to take notes on. But don't draw the bottom of the triangle yet. Leave it open, just like I showed you here on the screen. Now I'm going to tell you why I'm having you leave the bottom open here in a second. And it may not make complete sense to you right now. However, this is going to be the foundation for the plan that we're going to be developing on this web class. And throughout the web class, I'm going to be going back and forth and referencing this. And we're going to be developing everything in here for you, your business idea, your life, and your goals. Now, this training will absolutely be a professional grade training session, folks. You're going to walk away with clarity, focus, energy, and a plan that you can start implementing and see immediate results with. So I really urge you to give it your full attention. Number one, it took us weeks and weeks of putting together for you, and it took a lot of hard work. You see, folks, this strategy you're about to discover took me years and years of trial and error, mistakes, and a ton of money to figure out. And as you'll see in a second, it's truly my life's work. Anyway, I'm super excited to be sharing this with you. I'm glad that you're here with me. So pay attention. Let's dive right into the first exercise before you finish drawing that triangle here. So why is this web class so important? Well, why should you be paying attention to me right here and right now? Well, let's start with that quick exercise I mentioned to get your mind working, and also because it's important that you understand the situation that you're in, or what I'd like to call the corporate trap. Now, I want you to picture yourself over the next 5, 10, or 20 years, and perhaps you're doing something very similar to what you're doing now. You know, you might have stayed on the same path and continued with your current life, and things are in the same spot as you are now. So take a moment and ask yourself, are you happy? And deep inside your soul and inside your heart, are you truly satisfied and fulfilled? Now, let's say you got lucky along the way, and maybe you got a few pay rises from time to time. Maybe you even started a family, which is awesome. And you might have even gotten to the top of your field or in your company, but you're still stuck in what I call that corporate trap. And folks, the reason I call it a corporate trap is because you're truly trapped inside that job. Because if you're anything like I used to be, you probably have that nice house with a mortgage, you got the car, you got the designer clothes, you go out, you eat a lot outside, you have that expensive or extravagant lifestyle. And the only way to really support that lifestyle is with your current corporate job. But imagine if you ever lost that job. And well, to put it bluntly, you'd be screwed. I mean, I see this happening to a lot of people, and this happened to me as well. And this is becoming a cold, harsh reality for so many out there, especially in today's environment. And I know the exact feeling because being made redundant was something I had to go through myself. Now, here's the trap. Because as you age and excel in your job, naturally your pay goes up, right? But so does your dependency on the income, because companies are quickly finding it difficult to support an aging workforce. And in fact, there are a number of statistics that prove this. And you can see, some of the evidence in the graphs that I've shown over here from the Ministry of Manpower. Um, the high-skilled technicians, professionals, managers, executives, middle-aged workers, generally over the age of 50, are often the hardest hit by layoffs. This trend is only getting worse and worse over time. Plus, these high-skill groups are less likely than other resident workers to be in employment within 6 months of being made redundant. So that's not a good feeling, right? How many times have you heard the words overskilled or overqualified or too expensive? These are usually words or reasons that are given to you right before they replace you with someone fresh out of college or university. Overall, what more and more people are finding today, folks, is that it's dangerous to leave your fate in the hands of someone else. You're vulnerable, especially as the years go by, because it only gets more and more difficult to find a comparable career path. So you have a choice. You can either work until you're 70 and hope that your company takes care of you and you keep your job long enough to save for retirement, which, by the way, is getting more and more difficult as things get more and more expensive. Or you could go out on your own and take control of your fate. And since you're on this web class, we both know, plain and simple, that even if it was safe to continue in the same job, let's say for the next 10 or 20 years, it wouldn't matter at all, because overall, you'll never be satisfied. Because right here, right now, you just feel like something's missing. And even though from the outside to other people, it looks like you have it all. You're smart, you're successful, you're grateful for everything you have, but you know deep down that you're exhausted, a little bit terrified. You're wondering, what is the point of all of this? And maybe you feel that deep down inside your heart or your soul or whatever you believe in, that something's just not right. Now, if this is resonating with you, and I can see a few people writing in the chat box that yes, they can understand this is exactly where they're at, me too as well, that you need to know it's time to do something different, guys. Now, I know it's hard to make a change. It's hard to take that leap of faith and really explore that feeling and desire you have stirring inside of you to create your own business. So you're like most people that I speak with, at the end of the day, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to take action. You don't do anything different. And you end up sticking it out, doing what you're doing. But that feeling inside of you that something's missing just keeps on growing. And it can be scary. It can be overwhelming, confusing, frustrating. Some days you're fine, but other days you feel like your life is falling apart. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you've even found yourself saying that you just can't keep going like this. And if that's you, yep, there's a few people right now saying, yep, me too as well. You need to know that you're not alone. And let me encourage you folks for watching this web class today, because it's my promise to you that we're going to get these issues solved here, right now. And because I used to be in exactly the same position that you are right now, and I know what it feels like to be stuck in this spiral inside the corporate trap. In fact, right now, I'd like to say that this is actually becoming a bit of an epidemic. I mean, whatever you want to call it, stuck in the corporate trap, a midlife crisis, a career crisis, it's happening to almost everyone. And here's a chart from the Household Income and Labor Dynamics Survey, and just have a look at this. It shows that life satisfaction around the same age that you and I are right now is at one of the lowest points it will ever be. That's not a good thing. And it stays there for a number of years. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I certainly didn't want to wait and find out how long it would take for me to be happy, fulfilled, and satisfied with my life again. And I certainly don't want to wait to see what cards life was going to deal me and if I was ever going to be happy or fulfilled again. In fact, I didn't want to wait and see that if next year I'd still have a job. I know I've gone through that phase before, and I didn't want to wait and see what was going to happen to me down the track. So I wanted to be in control of my own life, my own destiny, and my own fate, which is one of the main things that we're going to go through today. Because this web class isn't about simply creating a business or making a living. It's about creating a life that you truly love. Now picture this, where you wake up in the morning, you're energized and excited to get the day started, where you start each day with focus, clarity, and a purpose. It's about creating that lifestyle that's completely aligned with your values, where you're truly happy, you're satisfied and fulfilled. And maybe right now that seems far, far away, and maybe part of you doesn't believe it's possible without risking or sacrificing your current income. And maybe right now part of you thinks, well, how things are right now isn't so bad. It's the way things are. It's the way life is meant to be. But folks, that's simply not true. And I'm going to prove it to you. And maybe you've been wanting to create your business for a while now, but life just keeps getting in the way. And I understand that. Or maybe everyone thinks you're crazy, you haven't got that support, and you're nervous or scared that it just won't work out. Either way, there's a million reasons for you not to create your own business. And whether you tell yourself, now is not a good time, or I don't have enough money right now, or you're asking yourself, what if it doesn't work out? Then what? There's one big reason to stare those fears and beliefs in the face and start on your journey anyways. Any guesses, guys? Freedom. And not just financial freedom, but time freedom as well. Imagine waking up every morning without an alarm clock. It's like you're on holiday, waking up refreshed, relaxed, and energized, waking up motivated and inspired. You could choose to live in the mountains and wake up to a fresh, cool, clean air every morning. Imagine that. Imagine waking up by the beach, taking nice walks in the sand every morning. How awesome would that be? And also, you would have the freedom to make your own choices. Imagine being able to take vacations and travel across the world, doing what you want with who you want, without having to ask your boss for time off. You get the freedom to live your life unrestricted and fully expressive. And imagine living a stress-free, more fulfilled life where everything just makes sense and you're happy again. And you have the freedom to make an impact, the freedom to live life how you want to live life. But more importantly, freedom from the expectation and judgment of other people. And this may sound silly right now to you because the reason I ended up in the corporate trap in the first place was because I spent my whole life living by other people's standards. I was told when I was very young to work hard, get good grades at school, go to college, get a good job, make good money, get the car, the clothes, etc. Hopefully one day save enough so that I could retire, have a house, family, kids, all of that. And I was told that that's how to achieve happiness. Now, while that plan wasn't so bad, that plan was never actually mine. And I never truly wanted most of those things. Yeah, some of those things would be nice to have, but I was living inside the expectation of others, trying to impress other people. And so, to be honest, I ended up a bit lost. And if this is something that resonates with you right now, make sure to keep watching because during this web class, something magical is going to happen. I can see a few people here saying, oh, I've already started down that path. It's okay, guys. We're going to be going deep today, and we're going to uncover that spark inside, and we're going to get that business idea and really let it take form and ignite that fire inside of you. We're going to get you energized, motivated, and focused. And we're going to also create an actionable, practical business plan and corporate escape plan that you can use to replace your current income with a profitable, successful business. Sound good? We're going to get down to what's happening in your life right now. And we're going to get really clear on the next steps that you need to take to finally start moving towards creating your own business that gives you true happiness, fulfillment, and freedom. And even if right now you're a bit skeptical, I don't blame you, and you don't think it's achievable, we're going to make it happen anyway. Now, if you're looking, by the way, for a get-rich quick scheme or a business opportunity type of web class today, folks, I can tell you right now, this is not going to happen. This is not for you. Back when I first got started on this journey out of corporate and into my own business, I tried a lot of things. I got burned, I wasted a ton of cash, and I jumped at every shiny object that came in front of me. I was like a little kid in a candy store. I made so many mistakes that I could have avoided if only I had been given some of the advice that you're going to learn in the next few moments. And overall, I lost a lot of time and money in the process just trying to figure stuff out. I truly went about it the hard way, and through years of trial and error with wild swings in my income and lifestyle, which is why I've put this presentation for corporate professionals. You guys get it. And I went through all the ups and downs, so now you don't have to. Now, during my journey, I went through and studied a lot of successful entrepreneurs. And I discovered that nearly all self-made millionaires and people with true freedom created that freedom by following a carefully orchestrated process. They followed a formula, a strategy. My promise to you is by the end of this short web class together, you're going to discover that exact strategy, plus how to use it to safely transition from your current corporate 9-to-5 to a business you love, one that gives you freedom, stability, fulfillment, and meaning in your life without risking your current income. And how to discover your business so that it takes less than 4 hours a week to create and run. Yes, you heard that right. And how to do this even if you're already stressed, exhausted, and work over 80 hours a week. And how to avoid expensive business mistakes in the process and practically guarantee your success, even if you're scared, unsure, and secretly nervous that it won't work. And I want to make sure you get as much value as possible out of this presentation. Now, there's nothing for sale, I can promise you that. However, if you stay until the very end, in addition to the first 3 chapters of my book and the bonus templates and audio files I promised earlier, I'm going to extend a personal invitation for you to speak with me on the phone and receive a free corporate transition strategy session, which is valued at $497. Now, on that call, we'll discuss your current business idea, or if you don't have one, we'll explore some of the possibilities for you and what you'll need to do to grow a successful, profitable business. And then we'll map out a stepping stone strategy to help you accomplish your business and life goals easier with less stress and overwhelm. And I'll even personally craft a plan that will show you how to replace your current income with your business faster without risking your current income. Now, this is extremely important because multiple studies have found that 90% of startups fail. I know you're not surprised to see that. So statistically speaking, the odds are completely against you from the very start that you're going to make it. But what about the 10% that succeed? What makes them different? And what about the serial entrepreneurs, like the ones that start successful business after successful business? How do they do it? What do they do differently? There has to be some kind of formula or process that they use, maybe a strategy that they follow, something that they do differently than the others, right? And I'll give you a hint. There is, but it's not what you think. You see, I've studied successful entrepreneurs and companies for nearly a decade now, and I found that there were patterns and certain things that successful startups and entrepreneurs did that others simply didn't do. And you're about to discover what that is and how you can use it to your advantage here in a moment. Because before I reveal exactly what that is, let's look at the 90% of startups that do fail, and let's just see what's going on. So as you can see here on the chart, for the top 20 reasons why startups fail, the number one reason, 42% of startups that fail realize there's no market need for their offer. And that's huge. That's nearly half. And 29% of them simply ran out of cash. And that's pretty alarming, right? Because most of these reasons could have easily been prevented. So my goal on this presentation is to show you how to avoid becoming another one of these statistics. Because as you're about to discover, starting a successful business is actually quite simple if you can eliminate these major risks up front, like cash flow and market need. And after years of research, I've discovered this is exactly what the 10% of startups that actually succeed in business do. You see, over the last several years, I've developed a simple framework that you're going to discover here in a moment, which will help you to eliminate these risks as well. And you might even be a little bit surprised at how simple this technique is. However, when you follow it, it will help you to transition from your current corporate 9-to-5 to a business that you love without risking your current income. Now, I use this technique to do exactly that, and my clients use this technique as well, and it works amazing. However, before we get into the details, it's important that you know I'm not just some random person. So who am I, and why am I sharing this stuff and talking about escaping corporate, and more importantly, why should you care? Well, my name is Gavin Sequeira, and I'd imagine you and I are actually quite similar. You see, I used to work for corporate, earning about $250,000 a year as a senior business development executive, and I worked for 2 of the world's largest IT companies. Both were awesome companies to work for, and I had a lot of fun times traveling around the world. I enjoyed all the perks of corporate life, you know, the great income, corporate card, travel status, recognition, lots of friends, great team environment. Culture was amazing. And it took me over 10 years of hard work and dedication to rise up the so-called corporate ladder and achieve what I did. And I was a consistent top 1 performer. I found myself winning, prizes, annual retreats, recognition for excellence and high achievement. And folks, I'm not saying any of this to brag, because all I ever wanted to do was to succeed. And I worked extremely hard to achieve the results that I did. However, between you and I, secretly, I had this deep gut feeling that something was missing, that there had to be more to life than what I was experiencing. You see, working in corporate, it felt like I was just a small cog in a big wheel, just a number. And even though other people perceived me to be successful because I bought the nice house, I had the cars, the status, the recognition, it felt like I had no soul. It felt like I was just working for the man, on a never-ending hamster wheel, kind of stuck in the matrix, if you like. I was competing with the Joneses and just forever chasing my tail. And the environment and culture around me just started to feel shallow and fake. Can you see what I'm saying? I can see a few people writing in the chat box acknowledging this. Yep, I know exactly what it feels like. And it felt like I wasn't making any contribution to humanity. I began to question whether or not I fit in the corporate environment. And before I knew it, I realized I was a prisoner. And each day was getting harder and harder, and I was just losing interest and staying on. And I needed to escape. And with all of the bills and responsibilities and things, I found it really quite difficult to make that transition. However, let's fast forward to today. And I've been able to replace that corporate income with a business that gives my life meaning, stability, freedom, and fulfillment. And since then, I've helped multiple clients begin their journey to do exactly the same. I've consulted and coached hundreds of businesses across 30 countries and dozens of industries. And I've even self-published my own book and on the topic of breaking free from corporate. And I sold over 100 copies in just the first 2 weeks. And it went into over 54 bookstores across the country and is also available online through Amazon. And now I'm going to take you through the process I take all my clients through so that you can escape corporate as well without risking your income and without working over 100 hours a week in order to do it. And I'd like to call this process the simple corporate escape plan. Now, during my entrepreneurial journey, I noticed everyone who's succeeding, myself included, followed very closely to this plan, no matter what type of business they started or what problems or issues they came up with, because this plan is about solving the bigger picture and putting processes in place before any obstacles or issues come up. So if you follow this plan you're about to discover, nothing more, nothing less, you will be able to create a business that replaces your income so you can safely quit your 9 to 5 forever and live the lifestyle you truly want without any risk. So inside this plan, there's 3 separate steps or secrets to the plan that we're going to be going over. The first one being a concept called bridging. And this concept will allow you to replace your income with your business. So there's essentially no risk to your current lifestyle. And you're going to benefit from this even if you don't have a clue on where to start your business or create your business. And even if you don't have enough cash flow to truly get started. The next secret we're going to be going over is called a 4-hour business. And this is critical for anyone in corporate because you most likely don't have a lot of time to dedicate to creating your business. And you probably are overworked and stressed out. So we're going to go over how to eliminate over 50% of the work it would usually require for you to create and manage your business. And finally, secret number 3 is something not a lot of corporate people know. Now, I've studied and mentored under multiple successful entrepreneurs, and every single one of them followed this shortcut. And you're going to discover it here today. So let's get into a concept called bridging. We're going to deep dive into how to replace your income with a business that allows you to live the type of life you want and do it in a way that's calculated, safe, and practically eliminates any cash flow risks. So the first thing I want to start off saying is starting a business has risks. There's no way around it. Whether you're risking your time, money, or other resources, there's always going to be that element of risk. And the simple fact is, nearly 90% of businesses are going to fail within the first year. Those are the odds you're up against. And for some people, this is a big deal. For others, they're okay with taking big risks. However, the trick here is you need to manage that risk. And I've seen this happen hundreds of times before where someone with an amazing corporate background and incredible experience goes to start their business and they just go all in. And it's such a common belief that you need to go all in if you want to be successful. That's just simply not true, folks. In fact, it's downright dangerous. And the story is usually the same too. Someone gets the urge to go out on their own, to leave corporate and start a business, which itself is great. I respect that decision. However, I've seen so many senior managers, executives, other high-ranking employees of companies, all of whom are very smart and talented people, make the most ridiculous business decisions. For example, I know of one person, whose name I won't say for privacy reasons, go and buy a coffee shop and spend over $80,000. Now, This person was already very heavily in debt. And worse, because he didn't research it properly, knew nothing about selling coffee, let alone running a coffee business, and falsely believed that his seniority and expertise in the corporate world would automatically translate into the coffee business success story he wanted. Short story is he ended up running that business into the ground within 12 months, and he made a big loss. And I've seen people quit their job and go in with a business partner, borrow tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes mortgaging their biggest asset, which is their house, putting their family security at risk, all to start their business. And they've done no proper research, no strategic planning. In fact, they've done nothing to truly prepare for the road ahead and have done nothing to manage the risk. Look, the fact is, if you jump straight into business with little to no experience, you're going to get burned. If you get this wrong, and it's extremely important to pay attention to what I'm about to tell you now, because if you don't do this and if you skip this step and you don't make the shift, you'll be throwing darts in the dark. You won't know where you're actually going or how to get there. You end up somewhere where you don't want to be, and you'll take a ton of unnecessary risk. In fact, this is the sole reason why so many people I've spoken to end up back in corporate with their tail between their legs, because they didn't have a proper plan. And without a proper plan, you'll most likely end up losing a ton of money, because essentially starting a business without a plan, it's kind of like gambling with money you don't even have. So needless to say, it's very important to do this process and make the shift. So what's the shift? And how do we avoid all getting burnt? Well, first off, don't make a leap of faith. We already went over the stats earlier. 90% of businesses are going to fail within the first year. Instead, you need to strategically minimize the risk you take in your business. So let's dive into what that looks like and how to do this. Now, this process starts with essentially mapping out your life and drawing a line in the sand saying, this is where I am right now, and this is where I want to get. Because if we map out the journey, it's so much easier to achieve your goals. You'll instantly gain clarity on where you want to be, and then you can begin figuring out how to get there. And the reason this works so well is because right now, maybe you're in a ton of pain and things just aren't going exactly how you'd plan it to go. And maybe you dislike what you're doing. You don't like the environment you're working in. You don't like your boss or your colleagues or whatever it might be. The culture of the company is not right. You want to be able to travel, but you can't. You're stuck. And you're daydreaming about the business you might one day have, but you can't really express yourself at the moment. And really, you're just in this point where you're not happy, and you'd like to escape your corporate 9 to 5, but you can't. And that's point A, and that's where you are right now. And once you find it and map it out on the left, you really want to get to point B on the right, where you're working less hours and maybe you're doing something completely different and exciting than you're doing now. You're making more money. You're living the lifestyle that you want to live. You have your own business, all that good stuff. Either way, you wouldn't just try and leap and make that happen, leaping over that gap or the unknown. And looking at it like this, I guess it looks obvious, right? But so many people end up doing exactly that without any actual plan. And then they start to drown in the water and they wonder why things went wrong. Instead, it'll make the most sense to simply plan out a strategy, make the blueprint, map it out, and then take the steps to create a bridge to get you from point A to point B much safer, easier, and with a ton less risk. And that's essentially what the corporate escape plan is all about. Now, inside the plan are all the small things and all the different things that need to happen for you to end up at point B. However, right now, the important thing is to figure out where point B is for you, which we're going to get into right now. All right, folks. So at the beginning, I told you to grab a pen and paper to take some notes on, remember? Now, you're going to want to get that out because in this next section, I'd like you to do another exercise. And by the way, I'm not just saying this to be a pain. Multiple studies on writing versus taking notes on a laptop, especially from some really credible sources like the Association of Psychological Science, Princeton University, even UCLA, have showed that the benefits of physically writing things down was clear to improve retention and memory. Plus, when you write down things like your dreams and your goals and your business ideas, it actually helps you to brainstorm on a more ambitious scale. And there was another famous study done by Harvard University that actually found that 3% of the people that had written down their goals over a period of time, they tracked these people over a period of more than 10 or 20 years, earned more than 10 times the other 97% combined that hadn't written down their goals. So very, very important that we write stuff down. So Let's do that now. So to start out, when you're making this plan, it starts with what I call self-discovery and truly uncovering where you are right now. I can sense a few of you laughing in the background, thinking, what's this guy on about, talking about uncovering? And you're right there, right? So what we're trying to do is actually look at your values, folks. We're trying to uncover where you are right now in your journey and understand how ready you are to take that next step. So first, what I'd like you to do is take a step back and ask yourself, what are your strengths? And if I'm going too fast, don't worry, because at the end of this web class, I'm going to give you the opportunity to work with me through these exercises. So try and write as much down as you can right now. Anyway, about your strengths, you most likely have certain skills and abilities that will work well to transfer from corporate to the entrepreneur environment. And we want you to stay focused on your strengths, because if you can and leverage them properly, it will make starting your business so much easier. But we also want you to ask the question, what are your weaknesses? Because the entrepreneurial journey is truly a journey. You need to be efficient, because if you're not, you'll end up spending way too much time and wasted energy doing all the things that could have been easily accounted for and overcome. So you're not trying to force yourself to use your weaknesses, which I'll explain how to get around in a moment. And the next question I want to ask you is, what are your passions? And what do you truly enjoy doing? Because going into business to purely make money is not going to get you very far at all. You really need to be passionate about your venture for it to be successful. It has to be a burning ambition that will make you do whatever it takes to get the job done, because you're going to be really immersing yourself in your business, and you've got to be committed to it, because you're talking about your life and your future. And if you're not passionate about it, well, you may as well stay in corporate. And if you truly want to succeed, you need to have the right mindset. And probably the biggest mindset is self-belief. Can you really do this? There's a certain level of determination that successful entrepreneurs need to have. Deep down inside yourself, you've got to have that inner confidence, that mindset that says you can do it, that this will work. And these things will help you to define your why and define your vision. Two of the critical aspects of creating a successful business. They're like the fuel for your business and the energy. And maybe right now you're feeling a bit of that energy right now stirring inside of you, just thinking about all this. Anyways, the next step is mapping out where you want to be. What type of business do you want to create? Maybe you want to be a writer, or open a restaurant, or open an online business. All are worthy goals. And if you don't know yet, don't worry. Just take the time to go back over where you are right now, and it may become clear. Also, how much money do you want to be making? You should have clear goals with your income. Maybe you realize the lifestyle you want to live isn't as expensive as your current corporate lifestyle. That's wonderful. And actually happens with a lot of my clients. Or maybe you want the same income level with less work. Either way, get a specific number in mind and write it down. Where do you want to be living? Maybe you want to move to the Blue Mountains or close to the ocean. Maybe you want to become a digital nomad and travel the world while working from your laptop. Try and get a clear picture of your ideal, most relaxing and refreshing location. And then, how many hours do you want to be working? And be realistic, because although at first you may need to work a few extra hours while you're still in corporate to get things started, creating a business is much like launching a rocket ship into space. It burns a lot of fuel in the beginning to get off the ground, but once it gets going and once it starts, it gets momentum and it picks up speed. And before you know it, it sheds its afterburners and it's just coasting and cruising through space with some minor course corrections. Now, after this, what I help my clients do and what I suggest everyone does is essentially create a bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. Now, I'm not going to get into the exact details right now, because this is stuff I cover in my program, which I'll tell you more about in a moment. So stay on the web class if you're interested in the more tactical things. But essentially, what I help my clients do is, first, we take a step back and do the important things like market research on the area you plan to launch a business. Who are your competitors? What's the landscape look like? And who are your ideal clients or customers? And more importantly, we need to create a financial runway, which I'm about to explain more here in a moment. But essentially, you need to plan out things like cash flow and make sure you have enough cash to get your business up and running. Now, which method would you prefer? Going all in, guessing with your business and with your life, hoping you'll end up with somewhere that you enjoy? or investing a bit of time into planning and mapping out and gaining self-clarity with where you are, where you want to be, how you want to live, and then taking calculated actions towards it. I can see a few people already picking the second option. Good. Now, when you do this step right, you'll actually gain clarity with what you truly want in life, and you can begin taking calculated, strategic, and planned steps to go after it without stressing or worrying about risking it all. And don't worry if you make a mistake. If you do make a mistake or get off course, you'll simply be able to correct yourself and get back on course every single time, because you'll have tangible goals and outcomes that you'll be aiming for. And your chances increase that you'll achieve your goals and end up exactly where you want to end up without losing your income or risking too much. Now for a more practical example. Here's a client I worked with. Her name is Lisa Cho, and she went through this exact same process. So folks, the proof is in the pudding that this actually works. You see, Lisa used to be in a business development and corporate sales role looking after large $5 million plus accounts, but she was entirely unsatisfied. She was under a ton of stress. In fact, she remembers going to the gym during a lunch break and walking back into the office almost every day, just thinking, this is just going to kill me one day. She knew she needed to do something, and secretly, she knew that she had an entrepreneurial spirit. And she always wanted to do more and run with her own ideas, but she couldn't in the corporate environment. She felt trapped and constrained and frustrated with the way that things were. She constantly felt restricted, like she was a bird in a cage. And now she went through this process and truly sat back and asked herself exactly what she wanted. But she didn't start thinking about what she thought she could do. She asked herself truly what she wanted. And she created a strategic plan, and she transitioned slowly over time out of her corporate role. And today, in her words, she pinches herself almost every day and asks if she's dreaming, because she has a team of staff and a successful and profitable business. And she wakes up naturally without an alarm clock. And she was able to de-stress and is literally living her dream life. She even mentioned that at one time a friend had to be rushed to the emergency or ER for a serious surgery, and she was able to take the time without having to ask her boss to be there for him. Now, how good is that? And she goes to the gym when she wants, and she's just simply able to travel the world and not needing to ask anyone for leave. So she's pretty much created that dream lifestyle. And now when I asked Lisa what was one of the biggest helps in her being able to transition, it was the financial runway I briefly touched on. And folks, what I help clients do is work backwards from their ideal lifestyle and really figure out how much it will take to sustain that. Now, when you're in corporate, you have the corporate mindset. You have the corporate resources at your disposal. And yes, you have the corporate lifestyle. But you can't sustain that corporate lifestyle on a startup budget. And you certainly can't run an entrepreneurial company with a corporate mindset. However, what I usually find is when you take a moment to reflect and look at your life now and where you want to be, you end up surprised at how much less you need when you're not having to drive back and forth between work and do all of the corporate things that you're used to doing. However, either way, if you're leaving corporate and starting a business on your own, you need to make sure you plan how much runway you have. Because you don't want to leave corporate until your income from your business exceeds or at least equals your expenses. This is really important. We're essentially spinning the cocoon right now, like you can see in the picture. And you don't want to break out of that cocoon too early before you're ready, or you simply won't be able to fly. Now you may be thinking, okay, but how do I actually get started? How do I actually create my business? And this sounds like a lot of work. I have no clue where to begin. I'm already stressed out and I don't have enough time. Now, up until this point, folks, we've mapped out what you want your life and your business to look like, but anyone can do that. The real value in creating one of these corporate escape plans is being able to make those goals and that dream lifestyle of yours a reality without overwhelm and stressing in the process. Which brings us to one of my favorite parts in this entire webinar. Secret number 2, the 4-hour business. And this is revolutionary, folks. It's simple and it's a practical concept. And this is really going to help you accomplish your business goal faster and easier, because it will eliminate over 50% of the work it requires you to create and manage your business. Plus, this simple concept will double, triple, or even quadruple your daily performance, which means, imagine this, finishing up your day, looking at the work you've just done, and not just knowing that it's made a huge impact on the growth of your business, but it was work that you truly enjoyed doing. You felt like you got into a real flow of things, and You sort of get into this zone. And when you get into this zone, you're able to accomplish and achieve way more than you ever thought you could. Now, putting this concept into action is critical, and getting into this daily flow state or zone extremely important if you're in corporate and you want to escape one day. Because here's what the average corporate 9-to-5 calendar looks like. Once you add in your hobbies, the gym, maybe a family, perhaps a relationship, and it may seem like creating a successful business is practically impossible. And for most corporate employees I speak to that want to create their own business, this just completely stresses them out. And it's another aspect of the corporate trap. And unless you know about this concept you're about to discover called time leveraging, you'll end up stressed, burnt out, completely overwhelmed, and convinced that it's impossible to create a successful business without killing yourself in the process. However, it's a fact. If you're in corporate, you're already very busy, and any more work is nearly impossible. So what should you do? Well, look, as a human and as an entrepreneur, one of your biggest challenges is going to be time. And I'm not going to sit here and say that you can create a successful business in less than 4 hours. That's not what this is about. Because anyone who tells you something like that is simply not telling you the truth. However, it doesn't have to be hard. Just look at some entrepreneurs like Oprah or Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg. We all get the same amount of hours in a day. We have the same amount of hours as them. So how did they get so much more done than almost everyone else on the planet? Now, before I reveal the exact details of the strategy they use, I need to bust the biggest myth about time that holds so many people back from going after what they want. You see, most people believe they need to do so many different things all by themselves in order to create a successful business. They need to do research, plan out their finances, create a name, an entity, create a website, and you end up with a million different things pulling you in a million different directions. However, this is extremely dangerous, and here's why. So folks, what you're looking at here is a task switching diagram. And essentially what's being shown here is when you try and add in multi-new projects that you're trying to do at exactly the same time, maybe you've got multiple tabs open on your computer, or you're simply just trying to do a million things at once, what it causes is this. You lose 20% or 40% or even up to 75% of your time because of the fact that your mind is constantly switching between all these things. Now, if you guys agree with what I'm saying, type 1 in the chat box. I can see a few people typing 1. Yep, you agree. Yep, we all multitask and we all lose focus with multiple projects. I get it. Yep. If you're already working in a 9-to-5 job, you simply can't afford to waste any time. For example, let's say you're working on project A, and then your phone goes off and you get an alert on your computer. So you start checking your computer screen and then all these other things. Well, this rush of information starts to flood and smash into your consciousness, and it distracts you and it pulls you away from the project you were doing. And then you don't get your project done. You start missing goals and deadlines, and it makes you feel bad. And then everything starts to pile up and snowball, and it can quickly become overwhelming and very stressful. And I know this because I did all of these things and I felt the same way when I first started my business. I felt like creating a business was impossible while I was still in my 9-to-5, until I discovered the 4-hour business. And entrepreneurs like Elon Musk and Oprah and Mark Zuckerberg, they all use this in their life and business. Now, if you get this wrong, if you end up ignoring these concepts I'm about to explain, quite simply, there will never be enough hours in the day. You'll feel like you're constantly under a ton of pressure and can never get enough things done. You'll start to feel frustrated because you know where you want to get to, you just can't get there fast enough. And you'll get stuck. You'll end up burnt out, stressed, and overwhelmed. And if you're like most people I've seen who gets this wrong, you'll get lost and may end up back in corporate with your tail between your legs, putting your dreams on hold. We definitely don't want that. So what's the shift you need to make to be able to leverage your time more efficiently so you can get more done easier and faster? Only focus on what's going to move you towards your goals. This is so important, and it's critical for you to understand if you don't have much time to invest into your business. Because busy does not equal success. So first off, stop focusing on the low dollar activities. Don't just sit there and mess around trying to design a logo if you're not a graphic designer. Believe me, folks, I've done this before. Don't try and create a website if you've never created one before. Stop trying to do a million different things all by yourself. It's a complete waste of time and energy, and there's a much easier way to get things accomplished and achieve your goals. The way I help my clients to do this is by prioritizing, systemizing, and automating, as well as outsourcing their different tasks. You see, this strategy is all about investing a bit of time up front right now in order to get dividends and tenfold on your investment. It's about doing the right things in the right order. So prioritizing and systemizing comes first, and then automating and outsourcing certain tasks come afterwards. So first we're prioritizing, and essentially with this chart, what you need to do based on the vision and goals you set for the lifestyle that you want and the income that you want, you need to look at all the activities that you're doing on a daily basis and place them and rank them inside this chart. So you can see there's high value, low value, and high time, low time, right? Now, if your goal is, for example, and this is just an example, to create $1 million business, then bookkeeping or responding to emails or sorting through paperwork, those things obviously are not going to be a high value activity. Now, this is going to help challenge you quite a fair bit because it's going to get your mind thinking about how you can reduce those things. And this is going to be a real reality check for some people because you'll end up discovering just how much time you're wasting on some of the things that don't even matter. They aren't moving you closer to your goals at all. And obviously, there's going to be some low value activities or things that you need to take care of that may not be getting you closer towards your goals, but that simply need to get done when you're first starting your business. So here's a short list of some examples of some low value activities. Editing or messing around with your website, bookkeeping, data entry, organizing, stock or folding inventory, certain types of research, some video editing, sending emails, transcribing something, reordering inventory or supplies, some graphics work, and most social media activities. Now, what you really want to do is work on systemizing those activities. At first, this is going to take a bit of time, but you need to look at this as an investment, one that's going to pay off exponentially as you continue to create and grow your business. So you're going to be systemizing the steps for certain repetitive, low-value processes that you do not particularly enjoy doing. Whether it's your bookkeeping, financial planning, whatever it is, you're going to track and create processes for these. Now, we're not going to dive too deep into what this looks like just yet, because I'll give you an example here in a moment. But you're going to want to do this for nearly all of the low-value items from the previous step. And what you'll end up with is a list of how to do certain tasks and lower value processes in your business. So the next step after that is to automate those activities. And when you do the previous steps, for most low value activities, all you truly need is a virtual assistant. You probably heard the term VA. Same thing. Someone that is based out of town, perhaps offshore, with a high attention to detail to take care of most of these tasks for you, and their rates are extremely affordable. Whether it's your bookkeeping, financials, accounting, either way, this style of outsourcing and automation is the key to the future and the key to getting more done because it will allow you to focus only on the high value activities during the day. Now, when you get this process right and implement this into your business, you'll get maximum results from minimal efforts, which will accelerate your progress and you'll start gaining momentum. You'll start striking down goals and milestones faster. And you'll be able to achieve these goals faster while having reduced stress and performing at your best. So you can live out life to its fullest potential because your business will be like a well-oiled machine that practically runs itself. Now, the main thing to keep in mind while we're doing this and talking about these things is that this is how a true business is created. Because folks, if you're trying to do everything yourself and running around working 80 hours a week in your business, doing all these low value activities that truthfully someone else should be doing, then you've just created yourself a job and a particularly stressful job, not a business. However, when you're able to check in on tasks assigned to your VA, it may only take 15 minutes to actually get something done by simply assigning and checking in on the task completion rate versus the 4 hours it would probably take you to do it yourself. So that way you can focus on higher dollar activities that move your business forward and leapfrog you towards your goals. Do you guys get it? Type 1 in the chat box if you do. Thanks, guys. I can see quite a few people typing one. Fantastic. I'm really glad that this message is resonating with you. This is how to create a 4-hour a week business that can replace your income before you leave your 9 to 5 corporate job. Because with smart planning, time management, and leveraging others' experience, you're only going to be focusing on your strengths and the things we covered in the previous step that you should have written down. And when you do this properly, guys, your business will have the foundation and the processes in place so you can scale it faster and more efficiently once things get going. Now, I realize there's a few things we haven't covered yet, so stick around because at this point, maybe you're thinking, this all sounds great, and maybe you like the idea of building a team and outsourcing and creating a business based around your strengths, but maybe you're also thinking, I'm scared my business won't work out, and I'm not sure if my idea is any good, which is where secret number 3 comes in. You're about to discover something that took me years to learn. I truly learned this the hard way, guys. And if you want to succeed in business, you need to know this. It's critical because when I first started in business, like I mentioned earlier, I made a ton of mistakes. And I wish I knew this $1 million shortcut when I first started because I would have saved tens of thousands of dollars and loads of time. And the reason this concept is so important is because when most people create their business, they're guessing. They're not entirely sure exactly what lies ahead of them as they transition from corporate employee to becoming an entrepreneur. And the truth is, becoming an entrepreneur will require you to pay a very painful tax, a tax which may cost you years of your life. And if you're not careful, it can literally bankrupt you if you don't recognize it soon enough or handle it correctly. So, what is this tax? Well, this tax is the price we pay for our lack of knowledge or our lack of experience as we dedicate ourselves to a new activity or venture or skill and experience in life. And whether we pay this tax with money or time or the pain and emotions of failing, either way, it's unavoidable. You see, when I first started on this journey, and when most people start, they make a ton of mistakes. However, there's good news. You see, someone else has already accomplished what you want. And that means a few things. Number one, it's not impossible and you can do it. And I'm sure you already knew that, but sometimes you need to hear it as well. And number two, imagine if you followed in their footsteps and did exactly the same things as them, only better, and took the same actions, only more efficiently. Do you think that maybe you'd get similar results to them? You see, folks, during my research and journey, while I was creating my business and studying under mentors and successful entrepreneurs like Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Dr. John DeMartini, Brian Tracy, Dale Beaumont, Brad Sugars, and there's plenty of others along the way, I noticed a lot of patterns and frameworks that each of them followed. And soon after that, I began to follow in their footsteps as well. And I patterned my actions after theirs. And that's what the $1 million shortcut is all about. Because learning from your own mistakes and successes is great, right? However, if you're able to learn from other people's mistakes and other people's lessons, well, that's incredible leverage where you're able to save hundreds, thousands, even millions of dollars in mistakes, and you'll find you can achieve a tremendous level of success much more quickly. Now, folks, I've spent nearly a decade researching successful entrepreneurs, and the biggest contributor to an entrepreneur's success is their mentor. And let me explain this a bit. You see, if you're still nervous or stuck and unable to move towards your goals and are struggling to begin or create your business, there's only truly 3 possible reasons. Number 1, your strategy or your plan is flawed. Number 2, you haven't taken any action. Number 3, maybe you've taken action but have stalled when you've hit challenges that you couldn't overcome. Now, guess what, folks? The right mentor solves all 3 of these issues because the right mentor has already overcome all the challenges that you will face. They have a system and a plan for getting the results you want. So you're not struggling to find out how to do things because they already done these things and they'll show you and they'll guide you towards the easiest way to do these things. And more importantly, the right mentor will also guide you to stay accountable towards your goals. Okay, so let's go back to the triangle I had you draw in the beginning of this web class. You'll notice now we have the bottom filled in and I've labeled it support. And that's because the support you have in your entrepreneurial journey is the key. It's the foundation for your success. You need the support. It's critical because if you go it alone, it won't work. And even if it does, the opportunity cost is huge. You'll waste thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours doing something that someone else can show you how to do for cheap. You waste a ton of time doing something that someone else can show you how to do much faster. And I recommend you find someone who has the exact results that you want with a track record of getting those results for others and hire them to coach you. That's the easiest way to succeed. You see, professional athletes have coaches, so do successful entrepreneurs. It just makes sense because the right mentor will not only be the support that holds up the whole system, they'll also help you take all of the action to do the different things within this framework without feeling overwhelmed or stressed or confused along the way. All right, so what I want to do here is share a story of one of my clients. Her name is Veronica Sahabu, and they live in Guam in the United States. And Veronica came to me wanting to open up a cooking school with her husband, Chuck, to promote the culture of the people of Guam to tourists. Pretty awesome idea. But the problem was that they were both stuck in the corporate trap, just like I used to be. And they were already stressed out and overwhelmed from their corporate 9 to 5. And they had very little amounts of time to invest into creating their business since they were already very busy. Plus, to be honest, neither of them had any experience or any idea exactly where to get started because they had no resources. I mean, who are they supposed to outsource tasks to anyways? They had no team, no knowledge, and overall, they felt pretty hopeless. However, after I talked with them and helped them create their own corporate escape plan, they had a vision and a plan that they were able to put goals and milestones against. And now they're well on their way to a wildly successful cooking school without being overwhelmed or stressed. And because I'm with them, helping them every step of the way, they're fired up, motivated, inspired, and hopeful. And with my help, they're taking steady steps towards their dream lifestyle and business. And they're well on their way to what I call true financial and time freedom. And stability with their income and their business is only a few steps away, as well as true fulfillment. And they're doing this without risking their income or stressing or worrying. Now, really quickly, I want to do a recap and go over some of the key points and main takeaways you've learned on this web class because I really want to make sure that everything sticks with you and that you got everything. So we know that having a clear vision of your end goal and having it written down is the only way to ensure you get there. And this will dramatically increase your chances of success. We also know that without a plan or a strategy to help you accomplish that end goal, you're going to veer off course and you probably end up somewhere you don't want to be. Obstacles will hold you back and you're generally going to feel lost and simply drift along the way. And we know that you need to outsource things you're not good at and move at your own pace until your business income exceeds your corporate income. And this is important if you want to create the lifestyle that you want, folks, not necessarily a business that just makes you rich. Because at the end of the day, the idea is to focus on moving forward, not trying to do all these things by yourself and overnight. And finally, we know that having a mentor or someone that has already been through the journey and knows the obstacles, and more importantly, has developed a system to get you there, will drastically increase the chances of your success. All right, folks, so today, you remember I promised you that you discover a way to safely transition from your current corporate 9 to 5 to a business you love, one that gives you freedom, stability, fulfillment, and meaning in your life without risking your current income. And I also promised to show you how to do this even if you're already stressed, exhausted, and working over 80 plus hours a week, and how to avoid expensive business mistakes in the process that practically guarantees your success, even if you're scared, unsure, and secretly nervous that it won't work. So I want to ask you a question. Did I keep my promise? If you feel that I did, please type 1 in the chat box. It's really important. I want to know that everything that I've gone through right now resonates with you and that it makes sense. I'd love to hear the feedback. Wow, I can see quite a number of 1s. Yep, plenty to think about. This is great, fantastic, awesome. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Now, I want you to look at the triangle that I had you draw at the beginning of this web class. So you can see that having a rock solid system at the very top on the blue, a customized program tailored to your situation on the left-hand side, and a personal network, which is on that right of the triangle, to assist and support you are absolutely critical to making this entire structure work. Because this is what you need to replace your corporate job with a business that gives you freedom, stability, and fulfillment. without risking your income. Everything we've gone through today, guys, is all about taking a relaxed, calculated, and strategic approach to creating a business. But here's the thing, folks. At this point, you're most likely either excited and have hope that it's possible, which is great. But if you're like most people, you're probably still not completely confident in exactly what to do or how to do it for your specific situation. And you may be still afraid to make any expensive mistakes, and you want to get it right the first time rather than struggling to figure all this out yourself, which, by the way, is a noble cause. And you're in luck because at the beginning of this web class, I also promised you an opportunity to get my personal help with creating your own corporate escape plan. And that was a free corporate transition strategy session valued at $497. So who is this opportunity for? Well, first off, you really must be committed to creating your business and escaping corporate. Now, you don't have to have everything planned out. And it's okay if you don't have a business idea yet. I'll help you get it all mapped out. However, if you're just curious or you just want more information, then please don't sign up. And I'm not saying this to be rude. I just find it's a waste of everyone's time because after watching this whole web class, if you're still not sure you want to take up my free transition strategy session, then you most likely need a lot more help than I can give you at this point in time. Also, if you're not ready to either invest time or money in achieving your dreams and growing your business, then again, please don't sign up. However, folks, if you are interested in this opportunity, even after hearing all of this, I'd really love to see some engagement. Just type a Y in the chat box to let me know that you're super motivated, super keen to get your business up and running and pursue your goals and dreams. Just a quick Y in the chat box. And I can see plenty of people typing Y right now. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate the feedback. Thank you. So here's what the opportunity is all about. You see, I've set some time aside in the next week to speak to you about how you can apply these strategies we went over today to create your business escape plan and transition away from corporate without risking your income. Anything you're not clear on with your business, or even if you're not sure how to escape, we're going to cover all of that on that call. And maybe you're wondering, so why am I doing this, guys? Why is this free? Well, I'll tell you, I'm doing this to get dialed into your business and your goals and to help you get clarity and focus to reach them fast. And you'll get an exact strategy to make it happen. Folks, I know exactly what it's like to go it alone when you're in corporate and trying to create your own business. It's hard, but you don't have to struggle because I want to help you. Now, if you want my help and you think we're a good fit, we may invite you at the end of the strategy call to become a client and be part of our amazing community where many others just like you are escaping corporate. Each of my clients and everyone in this community are getting powerful breakthroughs every week, and you could be next. Now, some people are extremely interested, but they're just not sure about the financial commitments and things like that. And they're wondering about the cost of working together and joining my community. Don't be worried about that. I always like to reference this with a couple of examples. And even the numbers I'm about to share with you aren't even remotely close. But just as an example, when I was in corporate, I spent over $55,000 on an MBA alone. Now, some of you might be nodding your head, and I can see there's a few comments. I know how expensive these courses are, only to have that information just become irrelevant within 2 years of me finishing the course. That's how quickly times move on. And over the years, I know I've spent thousands, in fact, tens of thousands of dollars on various courses, programs, seminars, lots and lots of personal development to really fine tune and master my skills and knowledge. And I really believe that continuing to invest in my education is critical. And I do this on a daily basis, and I'll continue to do it. And I can proudly say that joining my community won't even be a tiny fraction of the above numbers that we just talked about. So the rewards, however, for you are so much higher. Because folks, if we do work together, I'm going to personally help you to create, strategize, and map out your business, as well as guiding you towards achieving your goals. We're going to help you overcome any roadblocks or obstacles that you may encounter that are currently holding you back. This alone, just being able to move forward and create your business, is worth more than you can imagine because the upside potential of creating your own business and finally living a life of true freedom is limitless. And during your journey, you're going to need to overcome a lot of obstacles, which I'll be a part of helping you do. Whether it's mapping out your financial runway or helping you with your marketing or getting your business development all sorted out, or bringing on board new clients and developing sales systems, or simply showing you some of the best opportunities for networking and support. This is literally, folks, the world's first ever resource for corporate 9 to 5ers who want to escape and create their own business. Now, when you sign up, which I'll show you how to do in a second, you'll be speaking directly with myself. And the best part is, because I've been through this process, I'll be able to guide you on the call. So if you want me to personally help you create a strategic corporate escape plan so that you can replace your corporate job with a business that gives you freedom, stability, and fulfillment without risking your income, then click on the button to your right where you can see the special offer and book your free transition strategy session now. You'll have the opportunity to book a time in my calendar over the next 30 days that suits you. You'll also be given access to a simple questionnaire. Fill that out because it'll help us learn more about you and will assist us in our strategy session. So go ahead, folks, and book yourself in. Grab the best spots. Remember, first come, first serve. These spots tend to go pretty quick. Now, some people are a little bit nervous to dedicate themselves to this. So what I tell them is essentially at this point, you have 2 choices. Choice number 1, do nothing and go it alone. Try reading books and gathering as much free information online and continue to put your dreams on hold because you either don't have the time or now it's just not a good time. Or choice number 2, choose to get help from someone who has experience doing exactly what you want to do many times before and create your business, replace your income, and finally be able to break free from your corporate 9 to 5 without risking your income. So one last time, folks, if you want me to personally help you to create a strategic corporate escape plan, one where you can replace your current corporate job with a business that gives you freedom, stability, and fulfillment without risking your income, then click on the button to register now. You'll have the ability to book straight into my calendar for your free transition strategy session, but you need to be quick. There are only a handful of slots available, as you'll see, and they really do tend to disappear quickly. So don't miss the opportunity to have this all-important one-on-one session that could literally change your life, guys. So be quick to do that. Oh, and by the way, I also promised you earlier on some bonuses such as the first 3 chapters of my book, you might recall, as well as some cheat sheet templates and audio tutorials. Anyway, they're all here on this link, www.breakfreefromcorporate.com/webinar-bonus-download. Very simple. Go to that link. You can download all of those bonuses. But more importantly, if you haven't yet, please make sure you book in your free transition strategy session now. Time slots are disappearing quickly. Now, folks, I get asked a lot of questions from people when I'm talking to them or just working with them. And I wanted to share a really important insight with you, which hopefully will help you if you're sort of on the borderline of whether or not to commit to that free transition strategy session we talked about earlier. And here's probably the number one most frequently asked question that I get time and time again. It never fails to crop up. And hopefully once we go through this, this should alleviate some of the major concerns that you have if you haven't yet taken that all important next step and booked in that free transition strategy. And the number one question, guys, that I get time and time again is, can I really do this? Will this work for me? Now, there's a whole list of examples that I can share with you, and you may even find yourself in one of the following 5 or 6 that I'm going to share, and that's perfectly fine. There are plenty of others, but I'm only going to do 5 or 6 just for illustrative purposes. And, it's just so you get the point. Now, one of the ones that I come across quite often is, I'm a single parent working 6 days a week, and I just don't know if this is for me or if I can do this. I get that, guys. I come across a lot of single parents all the time, and trust me, you can do this. Or, I'm a busy executive with no free time. Guys, I used to be in exactly the same boat. I know what it's like to be extremely busy, but you've got to make the time. And believe me, you can actually do this. So we talked about how you could leverage your time, and this is going to be a perfect opportunity for you guys to do. Or, I travel a lot for work and I'm always on the go, so I'm not stable. That's fine. Not a problem at all. Guys, I used to travel all the time in my corporate job. You know what? I needed to find a way to get out of that cycle so I could have the lifestyle that I wanted, and I wasn't always on the go, and I could create a lot of stability in my life. What about if I don't even have a business idea yet? Guys, that's okay. This is not about trying to figure out how to solve all the world's problems. We just want to get you on the right track so that you can start your transition out of corporate. Okay. What if I'm not sure if I have the skills or ability to start a new business? Maybe I'm lacking a little bit of business confidence, or I don't know if this is for me. That's not a problem, guys. It's a process. If we can get you on the right track and on the right process, then you can do this. Not a problem at all. Or what if I don't have a supportive network around me? Guys, I totally get this. When I was in corporate, I didn't have a lot of people who saw eye to eye with what I wanted to do. And there wasn't a lot of people that I could talk to that would understand. Even my own family thought I was nuts trying to get out of my corporate job. So, I get it if you don't have that supportive network. And this is why you need to get this kind of help and support. Now, when I come across these things, guys, and by the way, there's plenty of others, there's a lot of other examples. I'm not going to go through them here. But the answer I have for people who have these sort of questions, I guess, is it's the same every time. It doesn't matter what your circumstance. If you want things to change and improve in your life, you need to take a different approach, one that will ultimately lead you to freedom, whether that be time, money, stress, lifestyle, or all of the above. I'm sure you guys have probably heard of the definition of insanity. I'm going to share that with you guys. It's basically doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. Folks, your life's not going to change unless you change it. And today, right now, you really have the opportunity to decide which way you want to go. The choice is yours. Make the decision to do things different from this moment onwards and take your first step towards creating the lifestyle of your dreams. So folks, don't procrastinate any longer. If you haven't already, go ahead right now and book your free transition strategy session. It's really simple to do. You can schedule an available session in the online calendar that works for you, and make sure that you complete the online questionnaire as well. And then folks, you're well on your way to creating a much brighter future. And if you've already done this, congratulations. I look forward to speaking to you real soon. And that really sums it all up. That's it, folks. Thank you so much for attending this web class. I hope that you found it useful, full of great ideas that you can use now to transition out of your corporate and into your dream lifestyle. I've really enjoyed presenting this to you. This is my life's work, guys, and I look forward to speaking to you on your upcoming transition strategy session. And make sure, if you haven't, please secure that spot before it's too late. Anyway, guys, this is Gavin Sequeira signing off and wishing you an amazing future filled with success and happiness. Bye for now.